Hey everyone, thanks for watching Senior Stationery, and today's review is gonna be on a vintage Papermate Ultra Fine Flair pen. Thank you, Mr. Lego Man. So let's take a look. If you're familiar with the newer Papermate Flairs, um, they have been redesigned completely. The newer ones have the top cap colored, and the rest of the barrel is gray. They have kind of standardized that. So those are the newer Papermate Flairs. This one being an earlier one, probably from like between the 80s or 90s. Uh, the fine ones used to come only all full white, and you only knew the ink if you look on the top, on the cross type tip. So you know this one. This is a blue ink pen, and the clip has, this is the older one, which was like this for many years. Papermate printed in script typography and the double hearts etched. The barrel, compared to the regular Flairs, the vintage ones, which had rigid grip, and then we have the other section and point. In the case of this one, the Ultra Fine Flairs, it's completely smooth. We don't get the ridges from the vintage regular medium tip marker tip pens. And as you can see here, we get a black printed scripture that says Ultra Fine Flair. So this is how we know this is a very fine tip marker. And if we open it, we still get on the inside also the whole white color. And if I zoom a little bit, you can notice the metal tip and the marker tip fine for the pen. And here we can post easily the cap. And comparing this to the newer one, as I said, on the newer one we get the color cap, redesigned smooth clip, which just has the two hearts embossed. On the newer one we still have the same smooth barrel, but again the barrel is gray, and this part is colored like the cap on the newer ones. So if it's blue ink, we get this half part colored, I believe. And we still get the same fine tip, as you can see. So this is the Ultra Fine Flair. This, as I was checking it earlier, this writes more darker blue compared to, say, the Sharpie Pen, which will be its current rival. So let's take a look. Let me bring the newer one so we can make a test. I have here also a Sharpie Pen, so we can check that. Let me just bring the newer Flair marker. Let's see. Okay, sorry about that. I got it here. As I was saying, the newer one, this, as you can see, has a modern scripture, Papermate Flair and UF as in Ultra Fine. The barrel does not have the slightly narrower end part, so it's just smoother. The cap's still the same, but the clip is redesigned, more rounded, and the two hearts etched. The top has a white cross tip, and if we open it, what I said was this, the half part is also same color as the ink. So this is a newer one, and this is the older one. This one has more the 1966 like design, because that's when the Flair was introduced in 1966, so it looks more classical, as you can see the difference. Oh, sorry, I left it open. Here, as you can see, it's pretty much the same, except that the older one has a little narrower end part, and this one's more sleeker, more continuous, straight. The clip pretty much measures the same, except it's more angular on the older one. This one's probably still US made, older one. The newer one's made in Mexico. And then here is the Sharpie Pen, which is made in Japan. So let's give it a quick test so we can see the difference of all of them. So first the old one, vintage. Let's take a look. This is a Papermate Flair Ultra Fine Vintage Blue ink. Now let's try the newer one. This is the newer one, the current one. Papermate Flair Ultra Fine current style blue ink. And then we have the Sharpie pen. Have the Sharpie Pen fine blue ink. As you can see, I don't know if you can notice, the older Flair has a slightly more darker shade. I like the older's darker shade. The newer has a slightly more lighter blue color, but still a very nice shade. And then we have the Sharpie, which is way more lighter. I like all three shades personally. The Sharpie, I use a lot the Sharpie, and despite being lighter blue, it's still uncomfortable for the eyes to look. But if I had to choose like a favorite color or shade, I will say the earlier vintage Papermate Flair is my favorite. So has the quality changed? Not really. I mean, I think Papermate has been consistent on the quality of their fine liner pens. Notice the Sharpie is lighter blue, the shade, but that one's made in Japan. The current Papermate Flair is manufactured in Mexico, and the older Papermate Flair, well, that one was made in USA. As the Flair was made in USA for many years, up to around 2009, I believe. So Papermate has been consistent and well with their quality, so it's a very comfortable pen. For a fine liner pen, it's a nice, very stylish style. So if you like very classic design or style, the Flair is a good to go writing or sketching pen. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Remember to give likes if you like the review. Feel free to comment and subscribe for more stationery reviews. Bye bye.